session. And today in this session, we are going to discuss about how can you perfect your conversation on accelerating AI solutions. And basically, this is mainly targeted for the partners. I'm Anupama Natarajan, and I'm going to be your trainer today for this particular session. And actually, I'm from TechnoFocus, and I'm a data platform and an AI MVP, and also a Microsoft certified trainer. So welcome everyone to this particular session. So let us quickly look at what we will be covering as part of today's session. So we are going to start with a quick agenda here around the first 30 minutes. We'll be talking about how do we win with AI, apps and data. So how do we win clients, especially like using some of these services that are available on Azure. So I'll walk you through that to start with. And followed by that, we are going to discuss about the partner pathways to success. So this is going to be including things like we will be discussing around how you can lead with AI use cases and also how you can drive business value. And then following that, we are going to look at some of the partner offerings and tools and resources that is going to guide you in terms of winning the clients. And finally, we will be wrapping up the session and also looking at what are the next steps. So if you have any questions, there is a Q&A area available. So feel free to put your questions and I will be going through the questions as I am covering through the topics and I'll be able to answer the questions as you are getting along. So once again, welcome to this session and let us quickly get into our session. The first topic we are going to look at is in terms of how do we do AI transformation, especially using the services that we have got in relation to apps, data, and AI. So when we talk about Azure AI, so we are talking here about the variety of organizations. So we don't particularly talk about one particular organization. We are talking about a variety of organizations. And to be more specific, around 50,000 plus organizations, they use Azure AI today. And as you can see, there is a great momentum, right? So pretty much a whole heap of organizations like started with 50,000 plus, it is reaching 60,000 and it is growing as we speak here. So as I said, it is not specific to any particular domain. We are seeing customers from variety of domains who are using Azure AI. And also there is a great momentum in terms of like the Copilot stack. So we are here talking about the Microsoft Copilot and also customers using the Copilot Studio in order to build their own custom Copilots. So this is taking into account of using the AI infrastructure, the foundational models that are available, which are hosted on Azure. And also like predominantly, there is a lot of use cases that we are seeing where customer want to augment the large language models with their own data. And along with that, like most of the custom Copilot scenarios, like they prefer to use the Copilot Studio or they also prefer using the Azure AI Studio. The key part in here is like the Copilot Studio is targeted towards the citizen developers and who can basically like use the Copilot Studio in order to generate the custom Copilots. One important thing that comes across everyone's mind in terms of the customers when they want to embrace Copilot is all about the topic around security. And I think Microsoft underpins security as an important aspect when it comes to whether it's Copilot or whether it comes to Azure AI. And I think they provide the confidence for the customers that their data is not used to train the foundational models. And also like in terms of oversharing data, whatever security strategy the organization has implemented, and Copilot is going to adhere to that. So it is not going to leak out any information other than what has been already in place. So this has been clearly also communicated to the customers in order to increase their confidence when it comes to embracing products like Copilot or Azure AI. So basically what we are seeing in terms of AI transformation in FY24 is more around a lot of organizations like embracing, or if they are already in cloud, they are starting to look at how they can do digital transformation or use AI as a predominant part of their transformation in their organizations. And also, if the customers are not already on the cloud, the momentum is how do we get into the cloud so that they can start using AI for their transformation. And I think Microsoft AI is becoming more and more predominant in the customer market, because the capabilities that Microsoft Azure AI services that are providing, the customers are getting to know, and also the confidence which Microsoft provide from the security perspective, it puts Microsoft in the forefront when it comes to the AI capabilities. And that's what we are able to see here. And the key in the point here is Microsoft have established themselves as a leader when it comes to AI. So this is what predominantly we are seeing in the FY24. So there is a lot of momentum in terms of organizations getting into the cloud, as well as there is a lot of momentum in terms of embracing the AI on the cloud. So this is where I think Microsoft is also empowering a lot of customers and partners in order to bring about like using AI for transforming their organizations. So one of the key trend or aspect that we are looking at here is each of these customer organizations, they want to be more competitive in the market. So they want to be ahead in terms of competition when it comes to their stakeholders, and what they want to make sure is whatever services they have got, they want to put that in front of the customers even before the competitors attempt to do that. And that's where the AI transformations is really helpful for all these customers and partners. And especially when it comes to the generative AI trends, one common and important customization technique that we are seeing is a lot of organization trying to embrace is the RAG pattern. RAG is nothing but the retrieval augmented generation. So normally, like when you are using the generative AI models, uh, the tendency is all about like, okay, I ask a question and I'm going to get the response from the publicly available data using which these models have been trained. But one of the momentum that we are seeing a lot is organizations want to augment their own data with the large language models, and that is basically implementing the RAG pattern. So when someone is asking a question to these generative AI models, they want the answers to be coming from the data that is the organization already holding in their systems, rather than trying to access the answers from a publicly available information. There is a variety of reasons for that. So the organizations pretty much want to use their data because they would have been captured this data, and this data can provide much more accurate responses than what they can the customers can get from the publicly available data. So this is where I think techniques like RAG and also like vectorizing the data is getting more and more like important for these organizations. The data they want to index it in a vectorized database so that like they can enable more like a semantic search. So just a quick introduction to if you are not sure about what semantic search is. Historically, we used to do text-based search. So you search for an information and it is going to look for whether that particular search phrase is available in the documents or not, and it is going to pull the appropriate documents that has got the search phrase. Whereas semantic search is a bit different. So here it is going to bring in the related information. So it is going to do the search based on the context rather than actually the text itself. And that's where it is really powerful. So if I give you a simple example, right? So suppose if you're asking the large language model saying, okay, give me the documents the associated with my annual report. So it is not only going to bring you the annual report documents, but also it is going to tell like, okay, like Tina is the person who has been generating annual reports. So this is like this additional related information. Now the semantic search has got the capability to provide that information with the help of the vectorization technique. And more we are seeing a lot of multi-model capabilities that are coming out. So that it can accept multiple inputs in the form of like not only text based questions, but also voice based, or these days like you can even upload an image and you can ask a question related to that. And also similarly multi output is also coming as an aspect. So integrating multiple LLMs and also like unlocking a lot of and optimizing it for a lot of complex scenarios, and we are able to see that. And also like with the generative AI, there is another trend that is coming in the market is more around the multi-agent trends, which is predominantly bringing in a lot of aspects for really advanced use cases. So all these things, it has been done. So any new models that are all coming out as part of the generative AI capability, they have got responsible AI capabilities built in. So that's why, as you can see, irrespective of whatever type of model that we are launching, we always have the AI security and safety, content safety that is incorporated when it comes to the Microsoft Azure AI. So here is a quick slide just to introduce how Azure AI is helping the innovators to create the better future. So if you look at the Azure AI Foundry, and Azure AI Foundry is basically the new term that was introduced as part of Ignite 2024. It is now showcasing the list of all the models. So we are not talking here about having only the open AI models, but also like other models like the open source models like the Mistral, the Llama model, the Cohere, the Databricks model, and even the Hugging Face model. They are all available as part of the Azure AI Foundry. So you get a variety of comprehensive Azure AI services. These are like a pre-built AI services that you can integrate with your applications. So suppose if you have an existing application and you want to add AI capability to these applications, now you can integrate the AI services that are available via the Azure AI Foundry and use them. And also, like if you want to build the end-to-end AI application, all the tools that you require in order to build that end-to-end application that's available in the Azure AI Foundry. And also, like when it comes to the privacy, security, and content safety, and the tools that are needed in order to put the responsible AI principles into action, Microsoft are the leaders in that. So they are themselves acting as a forefront in terms of implementing customers' privacy, security, and also like applying the responsible AI principles in all their tool sets. And one particular aspect, in addition to the privacy, security, and content safety, where Microsoft really stand out in comparison to the other generative AI, uh, like partners or vendors, is basically with the enterprise compliance and security controls that they bring in as part of the Azure AI. So when we talk about Azure AI, the key things is like the ability for it to integrate with other Azure services, whether it is Entra ID or using the role-based access controls, or when we are talking here about like how you can use the content safety so that you can keep an eye on monitoring the content aspects, like for instance whatever the prompts they are putting as well as the responses that are being received, it will be scanned for any malicious content. So the third part is around Microsoft, as I said, take security seriously in terms of like how you can put the responsible AI principles embedded as part of the solutions that they are providing. So the solutions that you can build for enterprises with the help of Azure AI is going to be of enterprise grade scale. And last but not the least is all the solutions that you have got, or the services that you have got on Microsoft Azure AI, they are all designed for the success for the businesses. So it is going to help organizations to co-innovate with Microsoft, and also like the customer, Microsoft provides the customer copyright commitment. Because one question that people have got when it comes to generative AI is the responses that we are getting as part of the generative AI. What in case in the future if we have a copyright question or something, and Microsoft take that responsibility and they will be taking responsibility for the copyright related information in the future, whereas the customers can happily use the AI products from Microsoft without any issues. So as you can see here, the model breadth and innovation, almost like 1600 plus models are available. Not only the open AI models, as I said, if you go to the Azure AI Foundry, pretty much you will be able to see all the open source models that are also available for organizations to consume. So one of the key aspect when it comes to Microsoft, it's their passion for developer productivity. And this has been the continuous driving force behind their AI strategy for empowerment. The Azure AI Foundry, it is joining the long and strong lineup of the platforms and tools, which is allowing all the developers, whether they are professional developers or citizen developers who wants to write or build applications by writing code, or if they want to build applications using the low code, no code scenarios. So they have got tools to cover the entire spectrum. Also, when it comes to building the unique generative AI solutions, Microsoft has got the Azure AI Foundry, which is pretty much like a home for the professional AI developers, whereas the Copilot Studio, it is pretty much the home for the citizen developers. And all these offerings are also provides a native integration within the Microsoft toolchain. So when I talk about native integration, like we are seeing about products like Microsoft Copilot Studio, currently there are 345 million active users of Microsoft 365 who will be pretty much engaging in terms of using the Copilot Studio. We have the Microsoft Power Platform community with over a million plus users. The Azure AI Studio or the Azure AI Foundry, around 60,000 plus companies they use it. And when it comes to Azure Machine Learning, 63,000 plus customers utilize it. Then we have other products like the GitHub Enterprise. It has a great community of 100 million users, and Visual Studio Code around 2.6 million monthly active users we are seeing in there. Azure DevOps, 3 million plus monthly active users. And if you look at the Azure portal as a whole, 85% of the Fortune 500 companies, they use the Azure portal. So this is showcasing like a lot of the customers and organizations, they pretty much use the Microsoft technologies and the Microsoft platform products. And it makes sense like why the AI needs to be incorporated and used within Azure, because the integration that it gives for organizations who are already using these products. So the Azure AI platform, basically it covers everything that you need in order to develop any Gen AI experiences or applications at scale. And this is really an important aspect that people need to understand, because um, you don't need to go and do things in different places. One of the things that Microsoft have done with Azure AI Studio, or now it is called as the Azure AI Foundry, is the ability to do the end-to-end AI solutions within the AI Foundry itself, starting from provisioning the infrastructure that you require to just for your AI solutions, all the way to choose the right models that you require for innovating. For instance, like there is a model catalog that is available, and you can pick and choose the model that you require. And also now Microsoft has also provided an ability to give you a SDK, which is the Azure AI SDK, using which what you can do is you will be able to develop solutions using a model. At any point in time, if you think like there is a better model that is available, you can easily swap this model that you are currently using to a different model. And the good thing about the using the SDK is because you don't need to make any code changes, because the API or available behind the scenes, like it has got the ability in order to make your code to work with any of the APIs behind the scenes. So you will be able to swap models through this unified API with the help of integrate building the application using the Azure AI SDK. Then you have the Azure AI search. And now a lot of organizations are talking about like, okay, I have all my data inside my One Lake in Microsoft Fabric. how can I use that data in order to augment my large language models, which you can do that with the help of Azure AI Search. With Azure AI Search, like now you can use the data can be indexed in Azure AI Search, or you can bring in the One Lake data from Microsoft Fabric, or even you can enrich the data with the help of Azure AI services. For instance, as part of indexing the data, you want to enrich it to include sentiment analysis, you will be able to do that without any issues. Safeguarding the customers for their AI systems. So this is where the Azure AI content safety comes into the picture. So if you look at the content safety part, as I said, whether you are asking a question, which is basically a prompt, or whether you are providing getting a response, which is what we call it as completion. So it doesn't matter. Now you can, as an organization, can set a threshold for the different categories, like whether it is based on violence or sex, or even like self-harm. The organizations can set the threshold saying like whether asking any type of questions related to these things, whether it is considered as like a high severity or a low severity or a medium severity. So if it is a high severity, then basically the questions when it is asked, those type of questions will be filtered. So those questions will not even hit the model. Similarly, you can do that same configuration for the completions. So if your model is responding with a response that is have or malicious in nature, and depending on the threshold that you have set, you will be able to filter that response from your customers. So this is a great aspect. The content safety is a great aspect that is already plugged in as part of your Azure AI options that you have got. And in addition to that, like the security can be enhanced with the help of Microsoft Purview as well as the Microsoft Defender products. And when it comes to operationalizing your AI solutions, you have got varieties of tools. You can build your AI solution using the Azure AI Prompt Flow, or you can use the GitHub Enterprise or Visual Studio Code. So as I said, you will be able to develop your AI solutions all within the Azure AI Studio or the AI Foundry. So all the aspects that I'm discussing in this particular slide, they are available in the Azure AI Foundry platform. And underneath this, the Azure AI in the infrastructure, the Azure infrastructure is uh, as a backbone. It is helping to deploy all these AI applications without any issues. Whether you want to spin up a VM and run your AI application, or whether you want to use model as a service, it doesn't matter. You have got all the solutions that you want to deploy in whatever mechanism you want to deploy is available within the Azure AI Foundry. So the key thing every organization these days are starting to look at is how do we build intelligent applications that can help the businesses to be more responsive to the changes. And there is another aspect which they are also looking at is around how do they develop and update the applications faster, and also to provide new features into the market to meet their customers' expectations. And last but not the least is the intelligent applications. They provide a more streamlined development process and also more flexible architecture. And that's why when you are creating intelligent applications, that is going to make your developers in the organization more productive, and they will be able to just release things in a faster release cycles. So if you want to talk about the stats, around 50% less time people are spending in developing new applications, especially if you are developing intelligent applications. And also 1.5 months faster to market for any new applications, and also 150% increase in work output uh, due to the Azure AI capabilities. So all these things, as you can see, when you are building intelligent applications, it can pretty much increase the momentum in which the organizations can deliver value for their customers. So I want to quickly talk about the AI design wins. So the AI design wins is basically like driving use cases or patterns, especially to transform the business process. And this is basically using all the different aspects or the uh, services that we have got on Azure. So these are the past services that we have talking about in terms of AI applications as well as the data. So one of the important aspect to consider here is like we want the customers not only just using the Azure AI capabilities, but also like all the applications that you are running to be run on the Azure platform. So whether it's an app or whether it's a data, to be utilizing the PaaS-based services that are available on the Azure platform. In addition to that, incorporating the AI capabilities using the Azure AI platform. So here are some of the services that are available as PaaS services on Azure that will contribute for the AI design wins. So if you take the data platform, we have several PaaS services that will assist organizations in terms of designing AI solutions, like the Azure SQL database, Azure Cosmos DB, and the open source databases like Azure Database for MySQL or Azure Database for MariaDB or PostgreSQL and so on. Similarly, when we talk about the application platform, we have the Azure Kubernetes services, Azure Container Apps, Azure App Services, Azure API Management, and also like Azure Functions, especially for applications where they want to just use a consumption plan and pay only for the duration of the execution. If you want to incorporate AI capabilities to your applications, in addition to that, we have the Azure OpenAI. We have model as a service capability, Azure AI services, and also the Azure AI Studio, which is basically the Azure AI Foundry currently. So all these things will help you to get a full application starting from the data to app to AI, all running on the Azure PaaS services. To improve the developer productivity, further we can also use tools like Visual Studio, Visual Studio Code, GitHub Copilot, and as well as Copilot Studio. So whether you want to build custom copilots or you want to use Copilot, GitHub Copilot in order to get some valuable inputs from a code perspective, you will be able to leverage that and use it in order to improve the developer productivity. So when we talk about AI design wins, we are talking about how we can utilize these PaaS services in order to come up with a solution, or how do we help organizations to migrate their on-premises solutions onto Azure using these PaaS services. And that's what contributes to the AI design wins. So here are some examples of customers, how they have reimagined customer experiences. So we have got ASOS, like where they have increased their personalization and product delivery by just delivering personalized shopping experiences for their customers by analyzing the data of their behaviors as well as preferences. And this is again, as I talked about, they were leveraging semantic search capabilities, and that's how they were able to increase the personalization aspect. Then we have CarMax, like who have used the AI capabilities for content generation and marketing. So they use AI to produce content for car research web pages. Then we have got Ellie, who have used the AI capabilities to provide service and support. They have pretty much made 30% cost reduction for customer support interactions using Gen AI capabilities. And last but not the least is TomTom. So TomTom have built their own co-pilot, and basically like their digital cockpit understands 95% of the complex requests, and it improves the response time from 12 seconds to 2.5 seconds. And that showcases the capabilities that Gen AI solutions can provide for organizations. So what you get to see here is some of the case studies which are available and which you can basically discuss with the customers to showcase to them how AI is reimagining the customer experiences or enhancing the customer experiences. So this is just a quick slide to showcase you like how generative AI use cases are progressing. So starting from in terms of like low complexity, low value to high complexity to high value. So you can start with simple things like, okay, how do we do summarization over large volumes of information so that it can be easily consumed by customers? Then the next step out of that is like, how can we use AI for data driven decision making? And moving on from that, like to go furthermore in terms of adding value is how do you tailor interactions like by providing personalization capabilities for your customers? And last but not the least, which is what a lot of organizations are aiming towards, is automating repetitive tasks so that they can increase the productivity. So as you can see here, every organization can take each step in there. So depending on what is the value that they want to achieve and which part of the use case that they can pick in order to achieve that value. So we'll talk about that in detail as we go along in with the slides. So achieving the outcomes that the organization wants actually depends on considering people, process, and technology. And of course, like Microsoft can help across all the three of these facets. So for organizations who want to transform to use AI, uh, pretty much they can work with Microsoft, whether you are a partner or a customer. And basically, like there are certain steps that needs to be followed in order to achieve value for the businesses. So the key part we are talking here is the first thing is having the right skills. So Microsoft can help organizations in terms of training and enablement when it comes to training people to have the right skills in order to develop the AI solutions or building intelligent applications, and also updating the organization processes so that they can embrace modern methodologies. When we talk about modern application development processes, we are talking here about agile development, how do we use security by default, and also the ability to handle any type of data. So if you think about organizations these days, they are dealing with structured, semi-structured, as well as unstructured data. So Microsoft have got solutions in order to handle data of any type, and also like how to apply AI capabilities in a responsible way. And also like the third point is around how to leverage the right technology. In the previous slides, we saw like when we talk about past services, whether it's data, apps, or AI, there are a variety of services that are available. So it is all about how do we leverage the right technology for the organization, taking into consideration of whether you are building a new application or modernizing the existing application. So if I want to summarize this, pretty much what we are trying to do is work with the organization to identify the use case for an AI application, assess the landscape, application landscape of that for that organization, and then find out what is an AI platform that can be leveraged. And last but not the least, how do we optimize the operations in terms of taking into account of the best practices, starting from enterprise grade scale, performance, and security. So all these aspects are really important when it comes to driving your business in order to get value out of AI based applications. So innovating with Azure. So how do we go about doing this innovation with Azure? And this is where the Azure Innovate program can help organizations with that. So Microsoft have got partners and who can guide customers along with this journey. And there is a lot of resources that are available in order to kickstart with the Azure Innovate program. So we have the envisioning workshop. Then we can develop a proof of concept out of that, and then you can just once the proof of concept you can see the value out of that, you can move that into production. So when we talk about these things, when we talk about moving it to production, you also can leverage the funding that Microsoft provides so that you can take the resources that you have secured as part of the pilot phase and move that into production without any issues. And let us talk about that, like what are the different aspects that are available that help organizations in order to innovate along with Microsoft with Azure platform. So we are going to spend the next few minutes talking about the AI transformation and basically around what are the partner pathways that are available for success. So here we are going to talk about, I think everyone would have known about the MSEM methodology that Microsoft have got, which has got the different phases talking about like listening and consulting with the customers, exactly understanding as part of what is their strategic goals are and what is the business problems that they are trying to resolve and what are the different use cases and patterns that are available and also like how they can find out the different use cases and also identify the key results or that they want to achieve in terms of value. Then having inspiring and design phase where you have the common envisioning workshop with the customers and also look at reviewing the uh, MIVA framework, which is nothing but the Microsoft AI Value Accelerator framework. And this includes like, okay, looking at AI from a strategy perspective and also from a security perspective. How do AI can enable with the improving the organizational capabilities and looking at the operating model for the organization, along with identifying the AI and data platforms that are required. And again, this is all in the in conjunction with the use case that you are picking and prioritizing with the customer. And then followed by that, you have the empowering and achieving phase, value realization phase, and also managing and optimization phase. So this is basically what we call it as the journey for AI transformation for any organizations. So one of the thing that Microsoft have observed is the three interconnected attributes that contributes to successful AI transformation. So basically, there is a lot of siloed experimentation which is not grounded as part of the company's priority. So that is pretty much basically like what we are finding. So there are a lot of pilots or use cases people are working on, but it is not looking at any of the company's priorities or not getting or not having the support of the C executives, and which can lead to projects basically because if you're not getting any supports or investments, basically that you won't have the necessary resourcing that you require in order to deliver the impact to scale it out to production, and which means like it is going to undermine all the efforts in order to invest in building an AI engine that is going to operationalize innovation with AI. And that's why it is really important to shift where the success, what aspects to be looked into for the success to happen. So that's why it is good to always pick up use cases that are linked to companies' priorities. And this is basically also making sure that these use cases, they get the support from the C executive. And with this foundation, the projects can be prioritized and looking at their business value and also the value that can be realized using the production scale out. And if they are not going to provide the necessary value, still it can be seen as a success as long as it can be applied to solve the C executives data driven priorities. And that's why I would say like with the support of the C level executives or their sponsorship, if you pick the right use cases, then the organization will be able to have a clear AI strategy and also like the uh, senior management will be happy to invest in the resources to build the AI engine that is going to help them in order to do digital transformation or innovation using AI in their organizations. So let us then basically break this framework into a series of steps and see like how it can help you to address some of the challenges that we have been discussing. So basically what we are saying is like don't take any use cases if you are not able to map it out with the organization priorities, or if you are not getting the buy-in or the necessary support from the C-level executives. So let us go through this and just look at that at a step-by-step aspect. So step one, first thing is to get the alignment with the customer on the business priorities and the business challenges at a functional level. And this is basically what we call it as the foundation. So we have to do this step correctly, because any use cases that we are going to pick it up where we are not able to align it with the business priorities or with the business function challenges, then I don't think you are going to be able to justify the value. The second step here is to identify, discuss, and prioritize the business scenarios which can help you to address the challenge. So this connects what is important to the company with the solution direction that is more important for the functional group. So here we are talking about identifying and prioritizing the scenarios that you have to take it up in order to address the business challenge. The next step is to take the business scenario into business use cases and prioritize, and which means you can take a business scenario and break it down into what we call it as executable projects, because you need to take them and you need to figure a way how you can create projects out of that. And that's what step 3 will allow you to do. And then you have the ability in order to define the requirements and also the key business results. So what are the key results that you want to get out of those requirements? And this is where this step 4 is going to bridge the business to the technical for the use cases. And the final step is basically architecting the solution and also understanding the capabilities needed. So this is where you will be able to link back to the business challenges, the priorities, and also the measures of success. And this is the stage where the technical team will take over any questions or anything that is coming. So the technical discovery part, as you can see, it is coming only in the step 5. So what is really important then? In the discovery phase, how you find use cases that you can align it with the business priorities and the business function challenges. Then how do you identify and prioritize the different business scenarios to address a business challenge? And then finding out what is the value and the feasibility that you will be getting for those business use cases. So how do you chunk them into projects? How do you deliver, work on delivering that project? So those are the next important aspects. And last but not the least is like defining your business experience and technical requirements and also the key business results, along with the architecting the solution design for the use case that you have picked up or prioritized. And this is where the technical aspect on how it needs to be built comes into the picture. So this phases that you are seeing here, this clearly showcases in terms of how can you use the framework in order to execute or address the key challenges that we have been facing. So as I said, with the step 1, it is all about the C-suite engagement. So how do I engage the C-level executives? So what matter here is the output. Without the output elements, like most of the projects will always get into challenges to get into production. So basically, what are the things that you need to work with the customer is how the use case is going to align with their strategies that they have got. So we have to document the customer strategic priorities, and you need to map it to the different business functions. You need to understand what are the customers' big ideas or uh, across the different functional areas. Then you need to turn the ideas and technology into the business function focus area for the AI solution. And last but not the least is to prioritize the ideas with the target within the target business functions. So basically, any particular business function that you are taking, you need to make sure that whatever value that you want to achieve, does it align with the strategic goals of the organization? So basically, the output of that is going to be your document plan, which is going to talk about all the strategic priorities that are mapped to the different business function challenges, the executive support that you are getting from the C-level executives, and also having an identified executive sponsor. These are critical because why these are critical is because tomorrow when there is a problem, if you have a support from the board and the C-suite engagement, and also if you have a proper executive sponsor, they will help you to remove all these issues, and they will help you or guide you in order to reach to the target state where you want to go. And last but not the least is also identifying the critical SMEs, both for you as well as for the customers, because the key SMEs are going to be valuable in terms of telling us exactly like what are the business scenarios that we need to be focusing on, and whether it is going to help them to achieve the value that they are looking for. Then we have the next steps, which is 2, 3, and 4, and this can be accelerated with the use of Copilot. Starting with the business challenge, Copilot will be able to quickly generate a large set of business scenarios. So starting with the problem statements, the KPIs, and also like other underlying use cases, your key results that you want to achieve, and all these things will be provided with the help of Copilot. Now you can think this cycles can be generated with the help of Copilot. You can review it with the team and also review it with the customer. So once you have clearly prioritized the business scenarios and the business use cases, then you can use the second Copilot. So we have the first Copilot prompt, which is around the discovery. Then you can use the second Copilot prompt around definition to generate the templates that you can use to refine with your customer during the envisioning phase. So the way how this is working is how to discover and also accelerate the deals. First thing is engage with your C-level executives, understand their strategy, understand their key business challenges. Then you copy the discovery prompt into Copilot and enter, so that you'll be able to provide customer company name and also some of the known challenges when asked, and then respond to the Copilot output. So this includes the key business scenarios like problem statements, KPIs, outcomes, capabilities, and also getting some of the discussion questions. So sometimes this is what we say like how you can use Copilot in order to generate customer conversation outlines. So basically, if you have any background information that you have got about the customer strategy, the business challenges, you can provide that in order to say like, okay, this is what the information, background information I have about this particular customer. Prepare me a customer conversation outline that I can have, and also some of the key discussion questions I can apply and ask the customer during my discussions. And also like followed by that, you can also list out the different use cases for each scenario. So this is talking about like the key business results, the business requirements, and again, asking the right discovery discussion questions with the customers. To give you an example, here is a template of the business scenarios. So here you can generate the different, here is the different business scenarios. And for each scenario, you will be able to come up with the templates like, okay, what are the underlying problems that needs to be addressed? What are the business KPIs? What are the business outcomes if the scenario is addressed? And also what are the business capabilities that can be achieved if the scenario is addressed? So this is how a typical generated content will look like. So basically like what you get to see here is some of the output that you can generate as part of the discovery prompt that you can use. And that's what we are getting in here. Okay, so I wanted to quickly show you what does the discovery prompt that we have been talking about, right? So you will be able to get access to those discovery prompts from this particular website, which is the dstoolkit.com, or this is the GitHub DS Toolkit Discovery Envisioning link. So here you can use the Copilot prompts in order for AI use case discovery as well as the prioritization aspect. So to just to quickly show you how this is going to look like. So this is the dstoolkit.com website. So here you can go and look for what what is the type of solution that you are looking for. So here, are you looking for a use case with an anomaly detection or OpenAI summarization or object detection? So you will be able to just search for the different use cases through here. In addition to that, you also have this particular discovery envisioning GitHub repo. So here, if you look at it, this is going to provide you some of the prompts and the templates that you can use, which you can generate it with Microsoft Copilot. So it provides you all the different discovery based prompts. And also, so this is one of the discover prompt. You can copy and paste it in Copilot. You can provide the necessary information that you already have got. And what you get is you will be able to generate an output like what we saw before. And similarly, this is the define prompt, and this is a template that is provided in terms of for the define prompt also. So you can copy these templates and they are available as part of the toolkit that I was showcasing. Or you can also use this website in order to discover a particular use case that you are trying to address a similar problem for your customers. And also, once you have identified that these websites are going to provide you information where you will have common patterns as well as the business use cases that you can use to build and modernize AI applications. So some of the technical patterns that we have already got is around how you can use your own organization data to augment the search capabilities or with the LLM models itself. So this is what we talk about, like a chat with your own data. The second thing that we have got here is around the custom copilot and also the capability that you have got in here. So the key parts that you have to understand is more around how we will be able to use these capabilities and also like how do we address some of these uh, responsible AI related scenarios. So when we talk about some of these scenarios, we are talking here about the responsible AI part, and also like you will be able to get responses in terms of what are the common patterns or common problems that we are trying to solve for the customers. So this includes in terms of like what are the variety of things that we can deal for these customers. So this includes like how do we improve developer productivity? How do we improve the customer self service capability or customer service capability? Call summarization techniques. So there is a variety of information that you will be able to get that for the customers without any issues. And this is what we need to be understanding when it comes to a lot of the capabilities that you are getting to see in here. So these patterns that we are talking here about and also the business use cases, these are the templates that are available for you to basically utilize in order to provide the capabilities that we are seeing in here. So just to reiterate, always start with the discovery process, use the prompts and the templates available in the data science toolkit. And as I said, use Copilot to the larger extent, I would say, because Copilot is going to provide you the capabilities. And then and the key part that you are looking at in here is more around how you can accelerate things with your partners. So to accelerate things with your partners, the more I would suggest is always use Copilot as a starting point in order to generate customer conversation outlines, right? But as I said, it is a Copilot and it is not an autopilot. So which means you have to look at it, look at the output that Copilot is generating, and also make sure is it covering all the business priorities and the whether it maps to the strategic initiatives and the goals that the organization has got, because you can't always like just to go blindly with what Copilot is providing. You need to validate that, and that's why it is really important that you focus on that aspect, and also like making sure it provides the right information in there. The another aspect also I will try and highlight here is like how we can use some of these repeatable patterns and accelerators for a variety of things. It is really important for you to note down and understand that is wherever possible, there are already repeatable patterns and use cases that are available. Try and utilize it as much as you can. Okay, let us go a little bit into some of these use cases and patterns that we have been discussing. Part of the Azure AI Design Win solution play. It includes part of the other two solution plays also. One is like how do you innovate with the AI platform? So this is basically we are saying how do we build an AI platform to support multiple AI applications and also enable AI adoption at scale. So this is focusing around the infra part, Azure infra part. And again, the other part is the build and modernize AI applications, which is basically how do you find the next AI use case and build an application for that. So which is basically targeted towards the scalable, repeatable IP. So they both, I would say, form part of your AI design win solution place. So first thing is you need to make sure that your customers are on the right Azure platform, right? So no point in sticking around in on premises and expecting that they want to get into the Azure using the AI capabilities. So first thing is they have to get into the Azure platform first or host their applications on Azure, then they can embrace the AI capabilities. Or some organizations, they want to just modernize their application. So they want to build, take a next use case, but rather than building the application on premises, they want to focus on building that and modernize it as a application hosted on Azure. So irrespective of whether they are first thing is moving to Azure platform from an infra perspective, or they want to modernize their existing applications or build their new application into Azure. I think you can use the solution place, which is the innovate with Azure AI platform and build and modernize AI applications. These two solution plays, they form the basis of the AI design win. So it can be a combination of both, or with some customers, it may be one or the other. It doesn't really matter because in both the ways, the solution place will allow you to achieve the AI design win concept. So when we talked about reusing some of these use cases and the common patterns that we are looking at, that's because AI is actually reinventing all the industries. So if you take HR, there are a lot of AI based applications, or especially Gen AI based applications we are getting to see, like internal HR assistant. How do you summarize the employee materials using employee chatbot? A simple chatbot is like you have policy documents across your organization, right? How do you build a chatbot so that you can like index all those policy documents so any employee can ask a question about a policy, they will be able to get a response. And also like helping with a job posting or creation or curation, like a job descriptions. How do you create the job descriptions and make it available in order to get the right employee for the organization? If you take the supply chain use cases, like you can use invoice and purchase order processing, and you can target it for any data extraction out of that. You can use it for vendor contract analysis, providing vendor communication summary, and also like you can predict the different disruptions. So the key important aspect to consider is like whether there is a question here, which is an interesting question, like all the AI functionalities that we are looking at here, is it available on the Azure stack? So there are certain functionalities, especially with when it comes to the open, when we talk about this AI capabilities, like where these are pre-built AI models, they are available for some containerized aspect or in some Azure Stack capabilities, but not everything. So not everything that you get on Azure is available on Azure Stack. So, but there are certain services that are available. So not everything is in there. So just to keep that in mind, even from an on-premises perspective, whether you're talking about Azure Stack or on-premises. There is a subset available, but not everything. When it comes to on-premises, there are certain pre-built AI models that you can utilize it by running them in containers in the on-premises context, but not everything as we speak, both for on-premises and Azure Stack, only a subset that are available. So then from an R&D perspective, you also have summarization of technical reports, internal presentations, external content, document generation. You can create products. So sometimes you can use generative AI to come up with the product names, fix any code defects. And if you want to modernize legacy code bases, you will be able to use AI, generative AI for that. A lot of admin and support related aspects like intelligent travel recommendations. How do you summarize emails, calls, and other communications? So I worked with a lot of clients around the like how do we summarize emails or summarize the calls transcripts that we are having with our customers. And a lot of AI capabilities now are entering in the legal field also, because this is again, how do we draft document generation? How do we do contract analysis? Then in areas like marketing, IT, customer service, environment, health, and safety. So as you can see here, the generative AI is not just getting into one particular domain. There are use cases across different domains where you can use generative AI. And that's why I just said like generative AI is basically reinventing all the industries. It is not just restricted to one particular industry in here. The other thing is also to note down is to how do you utilize the taxonomy for the different use cases. So if you are looking here, you need to start with, okay, what is the process of the organization is? What is the industry and the business function we are looking at? For example, we are looking at customer, improving the customer service, right? Okay, what is the process that we are looking at? Okay, this is an organizational initiative aimed at addressing a broad or a complex business problem. So here the statement is we want to empower the agents with insights to improve the customer service. And what is the business use case we are dealing with? We want a deliverable solution that offers measurable business outcomes. And in this case, the example is providing a call center agent assistant. And then finally, you have to have a technical solution, which is basically coming up with a technical pattern, which provides a reusable architecture, which is building your own custom copilot. And last but not the least is actually picking up the right technologies to fulfill that particular pattern. So this is what we call it as the standard taxonomy for any AI use cases. Okay, so there is a question here, which is an interesting question around how do we balance between or choose between Copilot versus Azure AI use cases? Can I have both, or how many agents I need to have in the organization? Is there a recommendation? First question is there are many subsets into this question. How do you balance between Copilot or Azure AI use cases? If your use case is going to be a simple use case, when I say simple use case, I want to just summarize a document. I don't want to integrate with any other solutions or anything, then I will classify that as a simple use case. Then I can use Copilot for that. If your use case starts to get complex and where you have to integrate with a lot of other external APIs and other things, then probably like you may need to look at using Azure AI. The another aspect also I'll be looking at is whether you are a citizen developer or a professional developer. If you are citizen developers, use your Copilot Studio and you can create custom copilots using that. But if you are talking about professional developers, then I will be preferring using the Azure AI services, because professional developers mainly for dealing with complex use cases, then the Azure AI uh, Studio or the Azure AI Foundry will provide you the necessary capabilities. How many bots or agents can an organization have? It can be different. Like for instance, like it is different, and you can have different type of bots. There is no restriction on how many you need to have. So that is something to keep in mind. So you are not restricted with I need to have only this many number of bots or this many number of agents. Depending on the use case that you're dealing with, you can integrate that with how many ever you want. So it is use case based. So there is no restriction in terms of number of agents or bots you need to have. So this is, I think, pretty much, I would say, right amount of technical patterns and also the right amount of business use cases that you have got in here. So I would suggest like this is pretty much the information that you are getting to see here in terms of what are the patterns and the use cases I can use in here. And this is for modern AI application. So if you look at any modern AI application, you can see one or the other flavor of what they want to try to achieve with that. So moving on from that, like what you can get to see here is around some of the engagements, what we are getting to see of new solution accelerators. So chatting with the data, this is a very common use case that we are seeing. So when we talk about chatting with your own data, we are talking here about like how you can get your organizations to augment with their own data. So this is something to keep in mind because this is one of the common use case that you are getting to see here. So if you are talking here about, this is where we are talking about how to bring the organization data for the augmentation process. And this is really important and to figure out the way how you can utilize these things. And the next thing you have got is the custom copilot. This is another common use case or pattern that we are seeing where we want people to just get into creating their custom copilots, where this is becoming a more common scenario. So then you have got how do you build your own custom copilot? That is again another common scenario that we are getting to see. Document processing and summarization. And so you can see the ones in the purple, they where the solution accelerators are under development, where the ones that are in green, the solution accelerators are already available. And document processing and summarization, another common use case that is coming. One of the emerging use case that is coming is a lot of people are asking more about code generation and documentation generation. So they have an existing code, how to get documentation for that. And knowledge mining, another emerging pattern that is coming. So how they can use the different data stores and extract knowledge out of that that they can utilize. And content generation is also coming up as some of the key aspect or the emerging aspect in here. So this is quickly showcasing a sample architecture of a custom copilot. So what you get to see here is like the source knowledge repository. It can be stored in any of these data stores. So you can pretty much have that in storage accounts or Azure database for PostgreSQL or Azure SQL database or Azure Cosmos DB. Then you can get the data inside. If you're using Fabric, it can be stored where the storage account can be mounted into a one lake inside Azure Microsoft Fabric. Then you can use a notebook in order to process and enrich and vectorize the data. Then you can index the data inside an Azure AI search. And as you can see here, while you are enriching, you will be able to leverage the Open AI service or the Azure AI service in order to enrich the data. So some of the use cases will be like if you have a product review, right? So you are getting a lot of product reviews on Facebook or X platform. And as part of ingesting the data itself, like you can enrich the data for sentiment analysis. So you can look at the sentiment and analysis that's you can leverage that and you can access it in there. So that's one of the key advantage that you are getting it through here. And then you also have the other Azure AI services also you can leverage with that. So then you get to see some of the few capabilities in terms of how you can put that in terms of like how you can use the Azure Machine Learning prompt flow or the OpenAI service, and how can you create a chat application hosted on Azure Kubernetes services leveraging that. And that is basically going to form as your web front end. So as you can see here, this is pretty much showcasing a sample architecture of how to build your own custom copilot without any issues. So this is another sample architecture where you want to chat with your own data. And this is chat with your own data solution architecture, which is also available on GitHub. So here we are talking on how to leverage some of these information. So you can see here for document ingesting and management you are using. So if you take this particular architecture, the first part of that is part of the document ingestion and management. And the second part of the architecture is like when an end user asks a question, where does it connect to and how the responses can be extracted from there. So that's what you get to see. And one part is part of your chat your data solution accelerator available in GitHub. The other one is part of the vector search AI assistant solution accelerator GitHub repository. So you are able to get to see here as both. So don't worry about the links which I'm sharing. We will be able to share the reference material at the end of today's session. So all the links which I'm sharing here, you will get access to that. So don't worry about some of these links which I'm pointing here. When you get the reference material, you get access to that. So this is again a sample architecture showcasing the knowledge mining capabilities. So when we talk about knowledge mining, so here, how do we do the conversational knowledge mining solution? So you can, the call center scenario I talked about, right? So where you take the call or the text recordings, you can store them in a storage account, and then you can generate the transcriptions from here from the storage account into with the help of Azure functions, and again store those transcriptions inside either a storage account or a PostgreSQL and or a SQL database or Cosmos DB. Index the data using AI search, and of course you can enrich that with the help of the OpenAI service or Azure AI services. And finally you build a web front end which you can host it on an app service or Azure Kubernetes services. So this is basically showcasing a sample architecture around knowledge mining. So these are some of the examples of the technical patterns to the industry specific use cases we have. So custom copilots, pretty much variety of industries they are looking at. If you take one thing that is universal across all the industries is the contact center support. Take manufacturing industry, they build custom copilots for AI factory assistant. Financial services, they build custom copilots around wealth advisor, AI assistant. Retail, as you all know, AI shopping assistant. Then you have got the healthcare and life sciences. They focus more around the research assistant. And then you have other things like knowledge mining, which is again a universal across the different domains. Chat with your own data because every domain user wants to bring their own organization data. And we are seeing this across the different domains. So that's why it is classified as universal. Document processing, predominantly we are seeing more in the financial services where they want to deal with applications and claims processing, and also like healthcare and life sciences where they want to use AI or generative AI mainly around the claims processing aspect. So that's what I would definitely look at in here from this perspective. So the next step we are going to look at in terms of post the technical patterns is a quick introduction to the envisioning framework. So that's what we are going to look at next. So before we jump on to this, like I want to talk about quickly around the envisioning framework, where we will be talking about quite a few information in here. Okay, let us quickly introduce you to the envisioning framework. So common envisioning framework, or what we call it as a CEF, this is a tool and a methodology which is going to help to move your partners quickly into the process of classifying or identifying and structuring high priority use cases. And this will also help to move them through the process of capability envisioning so that you can get them launched that into production. So the two key things we are talking here when it comes to the CEF is the business envisioning and the capability envisioning part. So the main part of the methodology is around the common envisioning framework, and this is closely aligned to your MCEM. So if you are exposed to the MCEM, the CEF is also closely aligned to the MCEM, especially part of the inspire and the design phase. And as I said, the CEF comprises of two distinct phases, which is the business envisioning phase, where predominantly we collect the structured information so that we can clearly understand the business objectives, what is the viability from the business perspective, and also the technical feasibility of the use case. Then using that information, we then use the capability envisioning where we can build upon that particular use case. So for instance, there may be 5 use cases in the organization. You will work with the customers in order to understand the business priorities, how much of these use cases map with the strategic goals of the organization, and also understanding from the with the C-level executive perspective, which of the use cases out of the 5 that where you are going to get the buy-in based on you set the priority order for that. Once you set the priority order, then what you need to look at is looking at the capability envisioning part. So here you take the prioritized use case and you are going to set up a series of design patterns, which is going to help the partners through accelerate through some of the design decisions, because with the common patterns, you can reuse some of the design that is already available so that you can make some thoughtful design decisions which is aligned to the goals of the customer use case. So in a nutshell, common envisioning framework comprises of two different phases, which is the business envisioning and capability envisioning. And this particular CEF, which is closely aligned with the MCEM stages, which is like predominantly the inspiring and the design phase. So some of the key or the core concepts of the business envisioning process is basically how to identify. So how you work with the customers and advise them on how to identify the high value generative AI use cases for their industries using the BXT framework. The BXT framework is nothing but the business, the experience, and the technology. So you have to choose the right use case that is going to be taking into account of this framework. And in this framework, what we are really talking about is what is the viability of the solution. So what is the viability of the solution in here? And what is the desirability of what is the experience that we have got in providing the solution? And what is the technical feasibility of realizing that use case? So we will be identifying what is that use case is going to be that is going to be of high value using the BXT framework. So that is what this particular part of the business envisioning process that will help us. The outcome is basically the customers can use the BXT framework in order to prioritize their generative AI use cases. And this is where a lot of like advice and discussions will be happening on how to utilize this framework in order to understand the key part of the customer use case. So then we have got the business envisioning preparation. So when we talk about the business envisioning preparation, there are two key templates. And again, these templates are available for you to use. So before you have the call with the business envisioning call with the customer, make sure like you have filled in this particular template, which is the business envisioning use case template. I'm not expecting that you complete it, but at least I would say like you kickstart with that, and then probably like you can go through this with your customers when you have the discussion with them. So the first template is the business envisioning use case template. So basically, like we are looking at the business viability, the experience, and the technical feasibility in here. And here we have the customers fill out the use case envisioning template. We will try and fill to a certain extent, but we will ask them to fill it further. And we can assign a score of 1 to 5 for each category based on their strategic fit, the strategic objectives that they are trying to meet. And then you will be using the use case prioritization template. So this is going to tell you what are the use cases. And here then we are going to see which use cases are fitting uh, the strategic objectives. Then with the prioritization template here, you will be take all the use cases that has been identified and then work with the C-level executives and the subject matter experts to figure out which use cases make most sense to pursue. And then you will be using these templates in order to come up with the prioritized use case that you want to move on next with. And that's where the next step, which is around the business envisioning workshop call, happens. So here you help your customers to refine their use case further and work through some of the remaining questions that you have got around the BXT framework. So here we can give some technical consideration, decision tree slides, and one of the question that came in the chat, right? So when do I use Azure Copilot Studio or Azure AI? So though Azure Open AI, so these type of questions you will be able to answer it with the help of some of the decision tree slides. And this is basically will help the customers also to understand. So when we talk about the business envisioning workshop, so basically here the BXT framework, like you can just highlight what is the purpose of the BXT framework and how it helps you in order to identify what are the key use cases that you need to be looking into. And then you have the envisioning template. You need to put that, fill in the template, basically like identifying maybe 3 or 5 use cases to the maximum, and then looking at how they contribute to the organizational strategies. Then what you have got is the use case prioritization. So with the use case prioritization, now you will be taking up the use cases and then you will be looking at which particular use case I'm going to take into account in order to deliver the value that I have got. So make sure this is important. So this is part of the business envisioning. So you prepare all these things to get the prioritized use case before we move on into the capability envisioning. So this is an important phase when it comes to business envisioning. So when we do the business envisioning, you have to fill in all these templates, get these things ready before you move on to the capability envisioning. So as part of the capability envisioning, again, you have the concepts here where you are teaching the customers around what are the high level approaches for generating, for building a generative AI application, and what are the technical considerations that they have to take into account when they are choosing it. So here you can see here, right? So here is a consideration. Do I adopt or extend Microsoft Copilot, or do I build my own custom Copilot, or do I build a Fabric application? So here you'll be looking at, do you have limited data sources that you want to surface via a plugin? Then go for Copilot for M365. But if you have limited data sources that you want to surface it via an API, then you have to build your own custom Copilot. If you want to build a Fabric application, then basically for complex data infrastructures, you go ahead and build a Fabric app. So as well as I told you, right? No code, low code, go for either using Copilot or extending Copilot. Medium coding lift, you go for building your own custom Copilot. And then the heavy coding lift, you can go and build a Fabric application. So non-technical user wants to work on a Microsoft product, then go for Copilot for M365. Non-technical end user, or if you want to work for an ISV software. When we talk about building a custom Copilot, right, keep in mind we have two tools that will allow you to do custom Copilot. One is using Copilot Studio, that is for professional developer, like that is for citizen developers. Then you have the Azure AI Studio, which is the for professional developers, which is basically cutting code. So when I say citizen developers, they would don't want to write code. So these are non-technical users. So for building custom Copilot, you can use Copilot Studio for non-technical users without any issues. So then you have got other aspects in terms of the preparation, capability envisioning preparation. So here you will work with the customer to review the technical considerations and also like looking at the different approaches and pattern decision trees. So this is we said, right? When do I use Copilot Studio versus when do I use Azure AI Studio? Then let the customer choose an approach and a pattern that they think that is going to best work for their use case, and also engaging with a Microsoft developer so that you can include them in the capability envisioning call so that you can validate your partner's thinking and you can work it out whether um, if any corrections that are really required. So keep that in mind. So the way we are going to look at is we start with the business envisioning, we take up the use cases, we map it to the strategic goals of the organization, we work with the business to asking them to prioritize the use cases. And once they have prioritized the use cases, you pick the use case and then you move on to the next phase, which is your capability envisioning phase. And then once you have the capability envisioning in the capability envisioning phase, where you're dealing with the technologies and the tools, and you have to take into consideration with a variety of aspects in here. And then you have your workshop call. Similar to how we have a workshop call for the business envisioning, we are going to have a workshop call for the capability envisioning. So here you will show the customers how you are going to answer all of the technical considerations that they have got. And also sometimes like if you want to build your own Copilot, you'll walk through to the customers how they can build their own Copilot. And this is really great because you are just showcasing through them through like a like a session where you can just quickly show them how to build custom copilots, especially with the help of the Copilot Studio or even with Azure Open AI. So as I said, the decks will be shared towards the end of the session. So don't worry about all these URLs. When we share the decks, you will get access to all the URLs that are available in this particular deck. So the key part here is like these are some of the links where you can get more information about common envisioning framework, what business envisioning for the different domains, like whether it's healthcare, manufacturing, retail, sustainability, and also like a capability envisioning across the different domains in here. So you'll be able to just access these URLs. And as I said, you will also, there is a Viva learning that is available in terms of how to facilitate envisioning workshop. So this is to work with your customers. So whether how to do this envisioning workshop, which includes like a business envisioning as well as the capability envisioning process. Cool. So moving on from that, we are going to look at how we go from innovation to scale. So we already talked about, right, like identifying the use cases, picking up the right use case, and then pretty much like, okay, once we have done our identification, build a proof of concept or something, the next step is like once we understand and realize the value, how do we move it to a production scale? And that's what we are going to look at. And we will be able to do that with the help of the AI value accelerator. So why we need to be using the AI value accelerator? Because it is a framework which is going to help us to map the business strategy for the organization, what is their data strategy and the platform is going to look like, and some of the key AI strategies and what is the AI platform that the organization need to be utilizing. How do we manage operational governance? How do you understand the organization and their culture? Because one of the key thing, especially with AI, implementing AI solutions, is it can touch upon the change within the organization. So understanding the organization and their culture is going to be really important, so that you can work out in terms of how to help the organization users to embrace the solutions. Because a lot of questions that you have already have been hearing, right? When you talk about AI, one thing I have noticed in quite a few organizations, they ask a question about, are we talking here about we are going to lose our jobs? So it's not about that. It is more around how AI can help organizations to improve the productivity. So it was quite fascinating to give you an example with one of the customer that we were dealing with. When we started looking at how do we optimize the way how we can deliver customer service for a contact center, we had a great buy-in from the end users themselves. So the people at the contact center who are going to use the solution, pretty much we got the buy-in from them because they wanted to work on value added tasks rather than the repetitive task. So asking for the same question again and again, which people can get it with the help of self-service or AI capabilities. So they wanted to spend more time in terms of leveraging the capabilities in terms of getting doing high value tasks. And that's why understanding the organization and the culture is really important, especially if you want to just introduce AI in the organizations. And also making it real, because a lot of people think when you run proof of concept and things, they think okay, this is not going to go into production. This is just a showcasing as a proof of concept, but that is not the case. So moving by taking using the AI value accelerator and moving the solution from proof of concept to production, this is going to make things real for the end users in the organization. AI is no longer new. I think that's another important aspect, because still a lot of people thinking about we haven't used AI and AI is new to our organization. You can pretty much hear that a lot from a lot of organizations. But most companies today, they have a solid data science capabilities. By 2026, 75% of the large enterprises, they are going to rely on AI infused processes so that they can enhance asset efficiency, streamline their supply chains, and also improve their product quality. And also the move now is from innovation to drive AI at scale. So a lot of people are already working on a lot of proof of concepts. So the next stage is all about, okay, how do you productionize them? And what we are noticing is with the majority of the technology budgets, they are residing within the lines of business. By 2027, 30% of the expertise in the suite will shift from encouraging innovation to scaling innovation and operating digital business. So what it really means is we are talking here about there is going to be more AI based solutions moving into production rather than just sitting in the proof of concept stages, because there is a lot of things organizations are maturing currently, knowing about how do we use AI capabilities, how do we trust the security, privacy, and the compliance that comes with the different AI products and so on. So that is one of the key things that we are starting to noticing with organizations with the proof of concept. So what it means is once they get that education, pretty much now the next step is all about how do we productionize these proof of concepts. So the key part in this particular slide is how do you industrialize AI with the AI value accelerator. So here we are talking about building the framework that is going to drive from strategy to innovation all the way to scale the deployment and the continuous strategy alignment. So it's not about thinking about strategy alignment only at the beginning, but also thinking about strategy alignment on a continuous way. So whenever we are making any changes, just reiterating the fact to say, does it still align with the strategy of the organization? So some of this key scenarios that we have started to looking with organizations is around a lot of organizations want to get into the cloud because they all understand now they can do a variety of things with generative AI once they are in the cloud. like a lot of infrastructure and database migration projects, cloud scale analytics. You can see everyone wants to have their own data and analytics platform. Large momentum in terms of building and modernizing AI applications using tools like AI capabilities as well as like a GitHub Copilot to enhance the developer productivity and also innovate with the Azure AI platform. As I said, like the stepping stone for building intelligent applications or Gen AI applications is to be on the cloud. And that's why a lot of organizations are moving their infrastructure onto the cloud so that they can then move on around building or modernizing their applications on the cloud in order to infuse it with AI capabilities. And also organizations want to accelerate transformation. So as I said, with the different frameworks that we have got, we work with them to prioritize the use cases, mapping them with which use cases are going to map with the strategic initiatives, and also picking up the right use cases and build custom cloud native applications. And this is going to help in terms of like having a proper framework for looking at the prioritization criteria to pick the right use case. How do we use the different data and AI platforms? How do we do human centered design? And also like building products for a specific scope or a standard. At the end of the day, all these things we are doing is because we want to drive the ROI for the organization, which is this is what the C-level executives will be more interested. What is the return on investment that we are going to get? Things like by moving into the cloud or by modernizing our application. So by infusing AI, what is the ROI that we are going to get? So by moving the AI investment beyond the proof of concept. So you have to also continuously monitor the performance of your application. So what was the baseline? And then as you incorporated AI capabilities, like what is your changes or your ROI is looking like post the baseline. And this is where the feedback loops comes into picture. So where the users can provide the feedback around, okay, how does the customer experience look like? So if you are working on a customer experience use case, getting the feedback on that is really important. And also you need to monitor how you are performing against your key results that you have defined, because there would be some KPIs or key results that you would have like key results that you have got defined at the beginning of the use case. As you implement the use case or productionize the use case, you need to keep measuring where you stand when it comes to monitoring of your key objectives. And the last but not the least is the governance of the performance, because it is not about just making up the statements. It is all about making sure like whatever way you are measuring or monitoring the performance, it needs to be available and it is need to be available and to be available in a way it can be proved. And that's where the governance of the performance is really important. So this is all the way what we are looking at in terms of you take the different use cases, you put it into the platform. So this will be having the line of business data security in there. So the different phases that it goes through is the planning, design, development, and deployment. And finally, this is all about productionizing your use cases so that the desired outcomes and you can make organizations can make some informed decisions out of the output that they are receiving as part of this process. So starting from experimentation phase all the way getting into the production phase of your use cases. So whether it's a single use case that you are going to take or a series of use cases you are going to take, it is going to go through under the same stages that we are talking here. So here are some of the inaugural build outcomes as part of the AI Value Accelerator. Having a AI strategy and platform planning collaboration. So this is where you work with organizations to make sure that the AI strategy and the business goals are aligned. Responsible AI principles and also the security standards are established within the organization. And also When we talk about implementing AI solutions, right, change is inevitable. So change management is really important, and we need to make sure that is well implemented in the organization. We talked about like a use case. You need to prioritize the use cases. You need to do the proof of concept of the use case just to understand the feasibility and the viability of the use case. And this is where collaboration between Microsoft and the customers are really important, because we have to facilitate things with the customers to get the use cases to be deployed and available. Once we prove them it is working fine in the POC level, then it is easy for us to productionize it. And having a well-defined AI and data platform that supports the industrialization of AI. So that's why we focus more on AI design wins, because we need to make sure that we modernize the platform first before you can start adding AI capabilities to that. And also like including the customer experience and user experience research and design for all the AI use cases that are developed. You may be wondering, it can be, oh, we are developing a simple chat interface. Why we need to have a design for that? But even having a chat interface, you need to still have a user experience research done, because how well you can provide value using the chat interface is equally important. And also like identifying the SMEs or the organizational enablers who will be helping you to get ready with the organization adopting the AI use cases. That's why I told you, right? One of the thing is like your buy-in from the C-level executives. That's really important, because that is going to showcase in terms of how you can help the organizations to adopt the AI use cases, because change is inevitable, and we need to make sure that you get the top down support in order to implement the AI use cases in your organization. And also last but not the least is operational enablers, not only the organizational enablers, because the operational enablers are the people who are going to maintain and provide support for these AI use cases in production. So you need to get their buy-in also, so that there is not going to be any issues from an ongoing support and maintenance of the AI use cases. So the accelerator, the AI value accelerator will help you to address, and it provides you all the necessary information that you require to take into account of all these build outcomes that you need to be focusing around. So with the AI value accelerator, you can de-risk some of the consumption commitments. So if I look at this based on all the discussions that we have been having, so we are noting here, right, you have all the information as part of the MCM methodology. You do the discovery phase as part of listening and consulting with your customers. Then as part of the inspiring and design, now you have got envisioning phase, where you will be implementing the common envisioning workshop. And then you have got the empowering and achieving phase, and then realizing the value and the managing and optimization of your use cases. So make sure that you recognize a customer ready for AI value accelerator. So the key strategic qualifiers for that is the customer should be facing a risk of falling behind or feeling great competitive pressure. Customer strategy is transformative. Basically, they want to become an industry leader, or they want to reinvent the industry. Customer ambition is broad and more than a couple of AI use cases, where the budget is almost greater than 1 million we are talking here about. Some of the commitment indicators includes like a negotiating large Azure deal with the customer. So not only focusing AI, but also like increasing the Azure footprint for them. Customer increasing their headcount with AI to drive the order of magnitude growth. Technical qualifiers will include the data that is required is available and modernized. So this is what we said, right? Like one of the stepping stone could be taking them into the Azure platform to utilize some of the past services before AI enabling them. AI platform required for the use case is available, and also AI ML experimentation capability to establish the feasibility, and ML ops also is an additional capability that you can consider. So key product indicators are going to be like using Azure for cloud and analytics, and also has got Azure Open AI pay as you go, and the user is advancing towards PTU. Just a quick difference between pay as you go and PTU. Pay as you go is basically based on a token based way. So whatever question that you are asking the large language models, the question will be chunked into tokens, and also like the responses similarly will be chunked into tokens, and for the tokens that you are utilizing is what you will be paying. But what we have noticed is like sometimes customer use cases are different, and it can require some sort of additional tokens, or they don't want to have any sort of token restrictions and they want guaranteed availability, and that's where PTUs are the best option for those type of customers. PTU stands for provision throughput units. So what it basically means is, if you have a particular use case with a customer, and where the customer says like, okay, when someone is using my AI solution, I don't want to get messages like, sorry, the server is busy, or there are too many requests away on the server, it can't provide you a response. You can prevent that by going with a PTU model. With a PTU model, what it is it's a monthly commitment. You agree your capacity needs with Microsoft, and Microsoft will provide the customer the region where they can deploy the AI solution or the open AI models, and that is going to provide the guaranteed availability for the customer. The only catch point with PTUs is it is a committed plan. What it really means is, whatever capacity that you are committing with Microsoft, you are going to pay for that irrespective of whether you use it within the month or not. And that is the difference between pay as you go and PTUs. But if you have a use case which requires guaranteed availability, I would definitely recommend you to move to PTUs, because in that way you get the guaranteed availability that you are looking for. So when we look at assessing and looking at the aspects around looking for the readiness to the industrialization AI perspective. So this is what the different attributes that you need to be looking at. So from a strategic ambition perspective, all the way to AI maturity within the organization, looking at the data readiness, and looking at the cultural readiness, and also like what is the policies and standards for RAI at the company, and also some of the security readiness within the organization. So if you have the industrial AI readiness, it doesn't mean that customer will meet 100% of each of the attributes. Sometimes customers may have higher maturity on some of these attributes, lower maturity on some of these attributes, and it's all doesn't matter, because you need to assess like what is the maturity level for each of the attributes are looking like, and you can appropriately looking at that. So what you can do is, for instance, you can see when what is not ready to industrialize AI, especially customer has got too much ambitions, but they are not from a maturity wise, they are not in there yet. So then in that case, you need to pick up a simple use case, but you need to find out which is going to give you better value, and then try to implement the use case and slowly take them through the journey in with the AI. So that's why I would say like looking at some of the programs around how do we get them into the cloud presence, especially the Azure presence, and then looking at inco incorporating AI capabilities in their applications are going to be really valuable. So some of the partner offers and the resources that are available for AI innovation, let us quickly look into that. The first one is the AI innovation partner-led customer journey. So where you have got the customer and partner engagement along with Microsoft at all the stages. So here we look at, okay, how do we drive the proactive usage? So we start with Microsoft and the partner, work together to solve the customer need. You can utilize the campaign in a box content in order to facilitate discussions with the customer interest in a joint solution, and using the Azure Innovate for proof of value offer. Then basically like once you prove the proof of value offer working for the customer, then basically like winning the deal with the customer and having an agreement with the customer in place, then more or less realizing the value by deploying the application AI or the GitHub solution, and also confirm that the outcomes are met for the customers, and then making sure like the ongoing the values are being realized, and looking at proactively how things can be optimized with the application. There is another program called as the Build and Modernize AI Applications. So this is basically one of the solution play that is going to drive the AI design wins. So with the AI design wins, here we will be working through the app modernization and also building a new AI infused application. So that's what we are going to look at. So here we are starting to look at the MCEM methodology. So where we have the listen and consult, where we work with the partner to look at skilling to the app platform using the AI and data services. And so there is a campaign in a box that is available across 11 different languages. And then you engage with the customer and deliver a proof of value. So this is basically the Azure Innovate partner will lead the proof of value program. As I said, once you showcase the value as part of the POV, then you can win the deal with the customer. And basically, this will form or influence the AI design win deals. And then you will look at how do we realize value with the help of the Azure Innovate program, which we'll talk about in the next slide, and also like manage and optimize with the customer so that you can drive your ACR growth. The other part which we talked about, right? This is the Azure Innovate program. So there are specialized partners who can nominate the customers directly to the Azure Innovate program. So here you are looking at what are the different offers that are available and also the eligibility criteria for them and what the partner receive as a payment for the different phases. So you can, if it is like a Innovate proof of value, then basically like you will be getting almost like 8,000 to 10,000. Innovating extra small goes up to 4,000 to 5,000 of the partner payment post sales. Small size goes to 12,000 to 15,000. Medium size goes to 28,000 to 35,000, and large size goes all the way up to 40 to 50,000. So these are all for the uh, pre-sales as well as the post-sales action. So the key part here is like getting the customers into the Azure Innovate program, and then predominantly working at in terms of innovating. These are the different support scenarios that you can use the Azure Innovate program with. So you can innovate with the Azure AI platform or improvising with AI Azure Analytics, or even using it with the build and modernize AI apps, or even accelerating for developer productivity. So there is also the Azure Innovate partner-led offers for ISVs that are available. So here again, you have everything based on the T-shirt size that you are looking at. Like you have a new Innovate proof of value, which is around 40,000 to $50,000 at the pre-sale partner payment. Then you have the different T-shirt sizes like XL, XS, small, medium, and large. Predominantly, this is giving the opportunity for the qualified partners, they can directly nominate themselves for the Azure Innovate in a self-service workflow. And this particular agile path is going to reduce the time to market and also help the partners to drive their uh, pretty much drive their scale. So this is mainly again used in terms of like how you can foster. So there is a variety of programs like what you are seeing here, right? The Azure Innovate Partner Program, the Azure Innovate Program, Build and Modernize AI Application, which is part of the AI Design Wins. So all these programs sometimes like the customers doesn't know what's available or what they are eligible for. So as partners, like we can help them in order to understand, like if they qualify to any one of these programs, we can enroll them in here. and also deliver like a POV, and then which is going to help you eventually in winning the deal itself. Cool. So we are almost towards the end of the session. So what we are going to look at is what are the other additional resources that are available, especially like in order to improvise, in order to bring more aspects when on winning the clients, especially around the different programs around AI design win. So for industry AI envisioning sessions, you can look at the Microsoft AI envisioning webinars. These are designed for mostly the ISVs and also like the solution integrators. And this is your this workshop is basically the gateway for mastering AI for business enhancement. The next is understanding the AI transformative role across the different sectors. So mainly understanding what is the impact, industry impact is going to be, what is a strategic problem solving really mean, how you recognize any opportunities, how do you look for any technical or business insights, and what Microsoft tools that are available for creating cutting edge AI solutions. So I would definitely recommend for you to attend those AI envisioning sessions. So for the different, basically for the different domains, like whether it's retail, manufacturing, healthcare, or sustainability or financial services, you have got the links here, which will you can register and you can participate in those like envisioning sessions. Some of the other aspects, there is a lot of resources that are available. So there is well architected framework for different industries like healthcare, financial services, Microsoft Cloud for sustainability, and also like how AI will help Microsoft partners to innovate across different industries, and also a lot of technical documentation that is also available. So some of these technical documentation and resources, they are not mandatory to dive into, but it will be good to get an outlook of that so that you have a better understanding of the solutions and technology that are available in order to power the customer use cases. But this envisioning session is what definitely I will recommend you to attend, because what you get to find here is like how you use the different frameworks that we discussed in these sessions effectively in order to identify the use cases, prioritize the use cases, and then use the different like programs that are available within Microsoft in order to deliver those use cases with your customers. So with that note, I think we are pretty much on the final end of the session. So if you have any questions, you can always put in there, and thanks for people who have asked for some questions. And also like thanks Manisha for putting the link. So the information that you require in terms of the slides, they are available in the like a Q&A chat. So the links are pasted in there. So all the material that I've been sharing in terms of the links, you will be able to access that using that link that Manisha has posted. So make use of it, and also like try and win a lot of opportunities from the customers. Enhance your sales by utilizing these frameworks that are available, and also there is a wealth of resources that are available in order to accelerate your sales, and partner, and also like all the partner offerings that are available in order to explain it to the customers around what their eligibility are. And of course work with Microsoft. That is a key point in here. Microsoft is always there to assist. So if you have a great opportunity, and if you have the great client, and if you are looking at having some better insights what programs that they are eligible for. It is always happy. Microsoft is always happy to help you with that. So use these materials, but if you need any additional information, you can always reach out to your local Microsoft customer contacts. And with that note, thanks everyone for attending today's session. So hope it would have been valuable for you in order to get the information or all the information that you have been waiting for. And with that note, thanks everyone. And just wait, there is one particular thing that I wanted to discuss is just alerting you on, make sure that all the materials that I have shared, it's available in the slide deck, which is posted in the Q&A panel. So if you need access to that, you can download it from the link which Manisha has posted. With that note, thanks for attending today's session.